Morning? Well, sis, it's time to shake them off. Welcome to Wake Up Happy Sis, the show that jumpstarts your day with a bang. We're strolling down these self-care streets as we navigate the maze of wellness and healing. We're helping you live happy, healed, and whole. And we do it all with a hearty dose of belly laughs for good measure. Stay tuned and get ready to wake up happy, sis. Hey, everybody. I gotta get our Instagram back up because Instagram wanted to, every morning they try to play me. And we're not doing that today. Today, we ain't doing that. Look, and there go Facebook, right on cue. Right on cue. Right on cue is how Facebook acts at all times. And I just don't know what its problem is. But we're going to get it together because
we got things to do.
We got things to do today. Okay, we got things to do today. And give me 1 second, y'all, while I get our streams back up and running, because Facebook, I don't know why it wants to hate on us every time. But we're not doing that today because today is a great day in the neighborhood, and we're not going to let it stop us. Okay. Let's see. Okay. I think we're back.
Hey.
All right. Welcome, everybody, to another empowering episode of the Wake Up Happy Sis Show. I'm your host with the most, Leanne Dose, Chief Self-Love Officer over here at Wake Up Happy Sis, and we're broadcasting live on KCCR Cityscape Radio, joined by my fabulous co-host, Sharonda Seeley, and our drop-in co-host, the DJ, man, Tony Sanchez. We doing it. Look, I'm so happy we ain't had Tony on the show in a minute. And if you know, we love our big brother to come and drop in on us. We ain't seen him in a minute. So today we got a good topic for you. We talk about all the self-care and wellness, but today we are talking about going from overwhelmed to unstoppable, transforming employee morale in high-pressure environments. Because it's time to shed the feelings of being swamped and embrace our inner strength and resilience in this workplace. Man, we're not going to let them keep stressing us out. And we are thrilled to have Martha Davidson with us today as our guest. She's an international author and speaker who inspires women to rise above the challenges. Okay, so let me go ahead and we're just going to bring Martha up. Welcome, Martha.
Welcome.
How are you doing today?
I am fantastic. I love this wake up happy sis.
Yes, this is what we do. This is what we do over here, okay? We are that morning dose of motivation that people need to get up, be happy. We come with the energy. We come with the good juju. We come with the good information. So I don't think today going to be a crying show, but we've had some tears on our show. We've had a lot of laughs, all of that, and we are so happy that you could join us this morning. Because we're gonna get these people together in this work environment. Because I really want to talk about from the employee standpoint, but more importantly from the employer standpoint as well, and the things that they can do to help relieve some of that overwhelm. Because this whole concept of doing more with less, it's not cute.
No.
It's not cute.
No.
So why don't you tell us a little bit about yourself, Martha, before we jump into the topic?
Sure. So I am Martha Davidson. I am the visionary of Clarion Global Women Leadership Network. And I am a leader that has been in this space ever since I was about the age of 21. When I got out of college, my manager at my intern said, "Oh, you graduated, you got a degree. How about being a manager?" It's like, okay. I was showing my age a little, they gave me the responsibility of 5 women who were key punchers. If you know what key punching was, you know it's been days and
It's
Yeah.
years.
been a minute. It's been a
Yeah,
minute. But yeah.
those ladies.
10 key punch.
How does she think she can lead me? She isn't even 21 years old. Oh my God, they gave me so much power. And
Mm-hmm.
of course, I did not get any leadership training. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But I didn't know what to do with them women. Them women knew how to wear me down. But what it taught me was the resilience
Yeah.
that's necessary in the workplace. And over the years, I have been able to up level my standards, up level my personal development because that's key. Growth mindset is key. And
Yeah.
as a result of that, I've been walked off of jobs because I was a Black woman who made too much money. And that was the only reason. I have been put in positions where I was the global leader for Bell South of all of South America. So there's been times when people appreciate you, and sometimes when people underappreciate you.
That's
And
right.
that's been the journey, right? And the problem for most of us, especially Black women, is what did we learn when we were growing up? Girl, if you don't go to college and get you a degree and get you a good job,
Mm-hmm.
work hard, and you're going to climb that ladder. That is the most unwelcome advice anyone could give
Yeah.
because we become, as Chavez says, addicted to our labors. So what happens? We work overwhelmed, thinking that the more we do, the more we'll be appreciated. And for us, we overwork and are overlooked,
Yes.
right? And
Yes.
we're
You better say that. Say that
overlooked
again. We
because,
are overworked and overlooked. Yes.
yes,
Where my
right?
where my
And
family?
we set that stage, right? We set that stage because why slave time, right? Why we working hard and they gonna give us more?
Amen.
Right.
They're not gonna do that.
Definitely not.
And you sitting up there stressed out, got babies, you got to get up in the morning, brush their teeth, wash their face, get them to the school, get them to the nursery. And what are you doing? You stressing yourself out, but people don't care. And then you upset because they're not recognizing you
Mhm.
giving free labor.
Hmm. Haven't we had enough of that?
Look,
Hmm.
look.
Yes.
I
And so what happens is women, especially women, have the makeup, the biological makeup, to be more stressed and more depressed than men.
yeah.
Jesus.
That's
And with that knowledge, we have to work smarter and not harder. And
Yes.
so that's what I do as I help women understand that they can achieve their aspirations when they understand the power that's within them to be the best that they can be without overworking and overstressing yourself and unable to serve not only your family, not only your community, but yourself.
Mhm.
Because you need to give yourself self compassion. So that's what I do. I teach women how to become leaders and stand out without being stressed out.
I
I
like that.
love that. I love that. How to stand out without being stressed out.
Mm.
Because these
Yeah.
work environments, I haven't worked in traditional corporate America in almost 20 years, but
Mhm.
I do remember 100% what it was like, right? And even now, even working with clients, they're still overwhelmed, right? And that's where I kind of want to start the discussion is let's talk about this overwhelm in the workplace, right?
Mhm.
Because
Mhm.
to me, it often kind of manifests itself subtly, right? It doesn't come usually all at one time and boom, right? It's like, okay, there's maybe a decline in engagement, right? More absenteeism because people are stressed out, they're
Mhm.
overwhelmed, right?
Mhm.
And there's definitely going to be a drop in productivity because when you are overwhelmed, you're not able to replenish yourself, you're not able to give your best. So you're going to start dropping things. That's when I know I'm really in a state of overwhelm. When
Mhm.
I feel like the day has gone by and I've done nothing productive, but I've been working all day. And you're like, what did I even do today?
Mhm. Mhm.
Now, a Gallup study found, and we know I like to give stats and tips on.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
give stats. Found that engaged teams show 21% greater profitability, right? And I think that highlights that connection between employee morale and performance. And when
Mm-hmm.
you got stressed out, overwhelmed, overworked employees who don't feel seen or heard,
Mm-hmm.
they're not going to be profitable. They're not going to be as productive as they can.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we, as employers, how do we kind of balance that? Because the work still has to get done.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do we
Yeah.
balance that?
Great, great, great question. And there are two parts to this in terms of my answer. The first part is when I started my leadership journey, I had to take a test to see was I qualified to be a leader, not because I knew the boss's friend to
Mm,
become a leader, right? So we are hiring managers who are managers.
Hmm.
I
yes.
and so therefore, what is happening is they don't know how to communicate. I wrote a research paper last year on hybrid working and the impact that the leaders have on the morale. And it's called social intelligence. You can call it hybrid employment engagement. But at the end of the day, we as employers have an obligation to explain to people three things: the ability as a leader to listen actively, the ability to have compassion. You don't have to agree, you have to have compassion. And the third piece of that is understanding there's something called social behaviors that impact us. Like if somebody says something to you, that's impact. I've been in a position where I'm like, was the head of something in an organization. They did not read my resume and they called me everything but stupid.
Mm,
And the part about that is when you have this social hurt and pain, do you know that social pain is as strong as physical pain?
yes.
Amen.
And
Yes.
so when the body and the brain looks at that, they don't know the difference. You know that with social pain, you can take an aspirin just like it's physical pain.
Hmm.
And when you have leaders out here disgracing you. You have leaders out here don't even want to acknowledge you because one, they don't have the reference. Because what do we know from statistics? That for especially in the women environment, for every 89 men that are hired for a position, only 25% of females altogether, all cultures and races, only 18, which is down to about 15, as a result of the COVID for Black African American women. So that means there is no correlation between how people, especially leaders, know how to engage with Black women because they don't have that background.
Hmm.
Hmm.
So they don't teach in corporate America social intelligence. They don't teach people how to be compassionate. They don't let them understand as a role, as a leader, to collaborate. You need to collaborate, especially with women. Why? Because women, based on stats, when there is a woman in a leadership role at a corporation, they provide more collaboration, they provide higher performance overall because women have what? The superpowers. They have the compassion
Yeah.
and they can keep them men straight. But most corporations do not have women leaders. So therefore, they're operating without the knowledge or understanding how to have an effective collaborative team to give you what you want. So on the other hand, what's happening? We still stressing out. We
Mm,
still trying to do everything we supposed to do because we think somehow the more we do, the more we'll get approved. But
appreciate it.
it
Yeah.
doesn't
And you
that
feel
way.
you feel like you're going to be appreciated more, but all it
Mhm,
does is allow them to put more on your plate because as you
mhm,
do more, they're just going to pile more on. And especially
mhm,
now when you've got a lot of corporations that are still doing layoffs. let's be clear, massive layoffs, right? Um,
Mhm.
that you now are being put in a position where I've got to do my job, but now y'all done fired Leslie over here, and I've got to now do Leslie's job too, but I'm expected to do it at the same level and quality, two jobs now
Mhm.
instead of my one,
And the
right?
same pay.
And
Oh
the
yeah,
same.
oh yeah,
Oh well,
That part.
it's gonna be
we ain't getting the same pay. We ain't getting the same pay because that's the other thing studies have shown. Men make more money than women.
yeah.
And that gets me to it's not about diversity, inclusion, and equity. It's about diversion, include. I mean, I'm sorry. DEI is more about the equality, not the equity.
There you go.
Yes.
There you go. It's about being, yeah, because if a woman is doing the same job as a man and she doing it effectively, why shouldn't she be paid just like that man or more?
Well, but you also have one, as women were getting paid less, two, as Black women were getting paid even less.
Even lesser.
Lesser. Right.
So so our levels are never, but we're typically overperforming, outproducing our counterparts, but we're still being paid down here, and the respect is not always there, and that's an issue. So Tanya said she went to a client's home yesterday.
Yeah, I laughed at
The
that.
client told her that she has to eat outside due to her religion.
The fuck? What? I'm sorry. What?
Yeah, yeah. But look at what she
That's
told
the
her.
whole.
Look
Yeah.
at what she told her though.
Right. Now I'm overwhelmed. I can't even.
Yeah, now you didn't get me all overwhelmed. I can't.
Did we go back a couple of hundred years? What the hell just
It,
happened?
it feels like it, right? Like that's crazy, but those are the kind of things that we deal with. One of the
Well.
things I've been moving into is um, empathetic leadership. So that's one
Mhm.
of the areas that I'm going into corporations with, is how to be, right,
But that.
an
Mhm.
empathetic leader and
Mhm.
be effective, because I think, like you said, that compassion is what's missing in
Mhm.
these employer employee relationships, because it is a relationship, and you
Mhm.
have to be able to help people balance all the different things that are coming at them, right? And you can
Mhm.
you can still be an effective leader. You can
Mhm.
still lead properly,
Mhm.
doing it from a place of compassion and empathy.
Correct.
I
Correct.
think, because like you were saying with the social pain, when you have a person who is not performing, right, and we're still kind of talking about that um overwhelm, right, you'll start to see things like they might coming in exhausted, right, they're always in meetings, like, you know cynicism, being real snippy at people,
Mhm.
right, um
Mhm.
being inefficient, not being as productive as they once were, right?
Mhm.
Not being willing to work with others, and trying to be and being a little more reserved. Those are the kind of things that, as an employer manager, you should be looking at. Okay, what's going on with my team?
Mhm.
What are some things that I can do? Because when people are overwhelmed, morale is down.
Mhm.
Morale is down, and you as a leader have to figure out, what are the things that I can do to support my team
Mhm.
and to help them not be so overwhelmed. Sometimes you can't help it, and we all just have to pitch in, right? And that means the manager got to do some of the damn work.
Amen.
You know what I mean? Sometimes you as the manager have to pitch in and do some of the work to help them relieve. Because what we're not gonna see is, oh, I need the whole department to stay late because we got to do XYZ, but the manager trying to go home.
Mhm. Mhm.
You know,
Yeah. 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 We what I'm noticing from the past probably 10, 15 years is that it's always about the person who gets these leadership roles. They did it because they were did this project good. They don't do it. They don't promote people based on their
Leadership skills.
empathetic positioning. They don't promote people based on are they uh, their unconscious biasness play a good role,
Mhm.
a large percentage of the role around being a good leader. They don't take these leaders and put them in a setting that allows them to gain those skills and that knowledge. So, what do you have? People showing up with their beliefs around what they've learned in life and experience. And that doesn't always play out to just what we just saw, where somebody said, "You can't come in my house and eat." That's because we haven't taught people how to be inclusive. We use the word, but we don't have a clear definition of what inclusive means.
Correct.
Mm,
Mm.
good word. Good word.
Yes, I definitely agree with that. You know, and I think as an employer, right? And this is for between you and Sharonda because both of you guys have been in leadership positions, right? So, what are some things that an employer can do to try to be more empathetic, to try to lead with compassion, but still getting shit done because we still got to get shit done. So, what
Okay,
do you
for
think,
for
Sharonda?
me, my army days, I was a officer in charge, and for me, spending quality time with each and every one of my soldiers and figuring out what their currency is. Everybody's currency isn't the same. Everybody's motivation is not the same. So
Mhm.
when you spend that quality time with the people that you have been blessed, it should not. I mean, people go into leadership and it is one of my pet peeves because, like Martha, I have been a part of leadership for a very long time and probably a little bit younger than you when you were, and it is the figuring out what makes your soldiers tick or in your employees tick, that find out their why and
Mhm.
see if you can help them with their why, because if they're not overburdened by stuff that they can't fix at their level as a leader, it is your responsibility to step in on their behalf and fix things so they can focus and function at work.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It could be pay, it could be mail, it could be any gamut of things being on active
Mhm.
duty and stuff. And so for me, one of my I was in a company and there's two different units in a company. So one, from somebody from the other unit found out that my husband was the financial officer and he had been having pay issues, hadn't gotten his bonus in 6 months. It was promised to him, but he had not gotten it. All it took was for me to find out about it. Walking across a parking lot, I called my husband. Hey, babe, check into this. Blah blah blah. He said, "Had a soldier come to my office today at 3 o'clock." And got it done like that. And he looked at me like, I've been waiting for 6 months. And so the amount of stress that fell away from the soldier was so very rewarding.
Mhm.
And that's what your rank. I'm talking to my military folks. I'm
Amen.
talking to people in any leadership capacity. Your job is to take the stress away from your employees so they can function and do what they need to do to work for you. That's my personal key
Yeah.
to its success.
Yes. That is just what we don't have today is because that compassion, that spending time actively listening,
Yeah.
spending time trying to figure out what makes them tick and not what you think makes them tick, in terms of what makes them accelerate, what makes them happy, does not happen.
Hmm.
It doesn't happen today, right? Because we haven't taught our leaders how to ask the questions. We haven't taught them how, wherever that your team is in terms of their status, their ability to be authentic, their ability to want to respond and help and be collaborative, we haven't sat down and planned the plan, right?
For
What we
yeah,
do is we don't people today, most leaders weren't taught that because they didn't know that was important because our
Mhm.
management talks it, but they don't reflect it.
Amen.
So,
Exactly.
right?
So for
So,
me, it was the being a soldier first before I became a commissioned officer.
right.
I put myself in their shoes, and what was it like? Say like a rock in your shoe where you it's just really and truly bothering you. But when
Mhm,
I switched hats and put on the officer hat, I was like, hey, what's going on with you? And just
Mhm.
taking the time to actually listen and wait for the response. And if it's something that I can personally affect, hell yeah, let's freaking do it. And that's what we're here. That's what your rank is for, because the
mhm,
soldiers, a PFC, E3 cannot go talk to a captain. There's barriers there, you know.
Right.
There's mental, there's taught, but being a soldier first made me one of the best officers in my eyes, because
mhm,
that wasn't something
Been
that
there.
I put out there. This is the feedback I got from the people that I affected positively. And they're like, oh my gosh, Cam Seeley, you not like everybody else, and you down here helping us and all your other officer friends up on the hill waiting for shit to happen. I like,
mhm,
no, you got another set of hands. Let's get it done. And just don't
Exactly.
be afraid to work. Like Leanne said, get your ass off that hill, because you're sitting on your gold mine, your butt. You are sitting on a thing that could make you and your employees successful, because if you're willing to work and get down in the trenches with them, there's a respect thing that comes about. There is a camaraderie thing that comes about. And it brings you closer as a unit and not as an individual, because an officer or a manager cannot take care of the mission. It's their people that takes care of the mission.
Right.
For
that's right.
It's the people are the most valuable asset and resource, and the managers that are walking around here, just because you have the position does not make you a leader or a manager. You're just holding a position because you're not a people person. And they used
Mhm,
to chap my hide, oh my god. So being in a leadership position, I went to get my master's later on in life. And it turns out, when I finally sat there and started reading these books, I was like, hey, wait a minute. I was doing this leadership thing before this book came into print. So I could have
right.
took the damn class. And so it's like I was actually living, this was my life before I went to get a piece of paper that said that I am a doggone leader. It just, how we do in the military, Tony. You're
Mhm,
actually
Mhm.
walking this walk and talking this talk before any manual was ever written. So
Amen.
right.
Well,
Amen.
and one of the things I want to go back to something you said that I thought was very important was the fact of having walked in the shoes of the employee. I think that is one of the things, and Martha hit on it earlier, that is missing, right?
Yeah.
That they've not come from that position. When you come, so just think you've got somebody who's never done your job. They don't know anything that you do, how you do it, what it takes to do it, but you're going to come in and manage me. How
hmm,
can you effectively manage what you don't even know and don't have an understanding? And I think one of the trainings that should happen for anybody coming in as manager, um, when I worked at a major telecom company and I was a lead, but I wrote all of the training, right? So anybody coming in as a lead had to work in the position first
Right.
because
Right.
to know what it is, the stress the people have, the roadblocks that they have, how they're feeling about things, right? You have to be able to understand that. And if you don't come from a place of understanding, you cannot be empathetic towards it because
Amen.
you're just wondering, look, I don't see why you can't do all of this. It should only take you this amount of, you don't even know, right? So how can you really be a servant leader, because I think as a leader, you have to also be a servant as well. Like
Right.
Sharon said, you have to be able to go in because what we're trying to build is resilience, right?
Mhm,
Trying to
mhm,
build up the resilience of our team because
mhm,
they need to be able to recover quickly from difficulties and they have to be able to adapt to change effectively because the only thing that's constant is change.
Amen.
Only thing
Mhm.
that's constant is that
Yeah.
there will be change. So as
Mhm.
we're building that, how are we going to build that if we don't know what it takes? We don't know what it's like to sit in that person's space. I used
Mhm.
to have to, we were writing these um, plans, architecture plans, okay? And
Mhm.
so we had to go and sit with every department to see what it took for them to service a call. They had something like 20 different systems to service one call. I got to go over here and do this. I got to go over here and do that. You cannot resolve issues if you don't understand the issues. So I think a part of us being leaders and pouring into our employees is first understanding where they're coming from and not listen to respond, but listen to understand first.
Mhm.
We pay
Right.
attention to what they're saying
Mhm.
and then go in and see what you can do to affect the positive change in that person's work environment, right? Because sometimes it's personal stuff that's affecting their work environment. Sometimes it's things that's going on at work that they don't feel comfortable telling you because you've not made it an environment where a person feels that they can openly share
Say
the
it.
and the overwhelm,
Right. Right.
right?
That is just something that is totally missing. And we spend a lot of time in diversity and inclusion. We need to spend time in understanding, have humans understand human. You know, it was a time when we could, when I was in a major corporation, managers went to training to be empathetic. Managers worked with Stephen Covey. They worked with John Maxwell. Those were part of the just daily routines that were integrated into our processes.
Mm,
Today, those people don't really come in except for maybe once in a while. But what we're seeing is a lot of talk and no action. Or a
mm,
lot of, oh, we are compassionate, but you're not doing anything compassionate. You
Hmm.
talk that you are we're diverse and we have all these different people, throw up some people with color and say, hey, but yet your whole staff is the other color. And so there, you have to have congruency and have to have authenticity. You
yeah.
can't just say you're going to do this. You can't just say, oh, we here. You can't just put a stat down where you got somebody to say that you were a good organization worker because you had diversity and inclusion, because you had some words up on a piece of paper. We have
Mhm.
to be authentic about how we serve everyone, right? And right now, that's just not the case for most of us. We are still seeing that the words are there, but the actions aren't matching it. So then that gives us more distress, more seeing that we're not going to be included,
Yeah.
right? And so that is something that organizations must understand. It's not about the words; it's about the action.
Yes. Now I completely agree because you have a lot of people. What I found, um, working in small companies, small growing companies, right, is that you have a lot of people who come in with the words. They can interview well, you know, they're coming in for management positions, but they're used to coming from an environment where everything was already set up,
Mhm.
right? So they don't know how to come in and roll your sleeves up and okay, I'm not managing on the hill. I'm managing in the trenches because that's
Absolutely.
where the respect comes in. That's where you build a team who will follow you into the fire and will always have your back because they know you have their back.
Mhm.
Absolutely.
I've got their front
Mhm.
so they can have my back,
There
right?
you go.
And one has to be there to support the other because resilience, and again, that's what we're trying to build, is build a resilient workforce, right?
Mhm.
Happy and a cohesive workforce. That's what we're trying to build in our teams.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um, that resilience is a key attribute in learning how to cope with stress and adversity,
Mhm.
right? Resilient
Mhm.
people are going to have a more positive outlook, right?
Mhm.
And I want people to learn to see challenges as opportunities for growth.
Right.
instead
Right.
of seeing it as a problem. And I think we have to learn how to shift our words and how we talk about things so
Mm-hmm.
that we can help our employees shift their mindset about
Mm-hmm.
how they see challenges, right? I want someone to come into work and to be happy to work for me, right? I
Mm-hmm.
want them to come into work, and there may be times when we're all overwhelmed, right? But what are some things that we can do? Okay, guys, we're going to take a break. Yes, we got a deadline, but you also need to take a break because when you're overwhelmed, you're not even thinking from
Nope.
Mm-hmm.
a place
Nope.
of clarity. You're not
Mm-hmm.
able to give your best. So, do
Mm-hmm.
I want the 30% that you can give now, or do I give you this time to break and then come back and now you can give me 85%? Right? I think
Mm-hmm.
when we look at empathetic leadership and we look at the lack of training that,
Mm-hmm.
like you said, that managers are really getting, we have to be the ones to set the example as the leaders in the company, in the organizations. We have to ensure that our workforce, management, executive levels on down, are
Mm-hmm.
trained properly so that they can train properly, right? And I think that's kind of some of the missing link, is that our leaders are not being trained on how to lead and serve. It's like,
Hmm.
this is my way. I come in to a new organization. A lot of times, what I see is they're really quick to try and change things instead of really understanding.
Mm-hmm.
Let me understand your processes, how you do things, why you do things the way that you do things, before I just come in. I'm big bad leader Leanne, and we're going to change up everything. That people feel disrespected,
Hmm.
Mm-hmm.
feel unheard, unseen, unacknowledged,
Mm-hmm.
and they're not going to be at their best.
Mm-hmm. Yes. I'm going to switch that a little and talk about, because we lack that, how do we, especially women leaders, change that trajectory for ourselves? Because
Yeah.
a lot of times, what happens is we get so caught up in not being represented. We get so caught up in we over serving that we lack that we have the possibility to change that.
Yeah.
And that's what I basically focus on, is telling those women, or showing and bringing to light that you can, in spite of what you're seeing, be able to change your narrative so that you are being seen, and
Yeah.
that you are being the influencer, that you are being the one that has that intuition and compassion. Because what we do know, and what I have experienced, and I'm sure you have, each of us in this space right now, is when your energy gets there before your
Hmm.
personality, what's that going to do? That's going to change your trajectory. And
Yeah.
so we have to learn how to be smarter in how we show up, so that we're not just you know trying to get the recognition. We're trying to be able to show out that we are responsible, and that we can be in this position and make a difference. Because what happens with, when we don't do that, when we don't wake up happy, we
Baby.
don't show up happy.
Yes.
Right? So it's the goal for me to do is to, I call it, right now, it's called rise up with resilience, rise up with our inner superpowers. We're going to look at our self reflection, because a lot of times we allow other people to put pressure on us based on the fact of what they think. We have to be strong enough to know that our self perception is critical, because what's happening is our perception and our self communication is how we show up, right? Because if we think we're not worthy, we're also feeling not worthy.
Hmm.
And so
Yeah.
that
That's what
impacts,
you're projecting. And that's what
yes,
you're going to project to the world. Yes. So we're
yes.
going to take a break real quick. Got to do a little station identification. You are tuned in to the Wake Up Happy Sis Show on KCCR Cityscape Radio, and we'll be right back after our little commercial break. Hey, sis. Ever feel like you're on the verge of a meltdown? Are you overwhelmed from juggling your job, your family, and trying to fit in me time, but seriously dropping the ball on that last one? Guess what? You're not alone. Introducing the Burnout Recovery Kit. It's your 14-day lifeline to go from burnt out to lit up. Get ready to reclaim your joy, energy, and that I got this attitude. Grab your free ebook, a purpose-driven workbook, daily email prompts, as well as SMS boosters and Q&A sessions. It's like a spa day for your soul, and guess what? It's totally free. Don't waste another minute feeling drained. Go to officialburnoutrecoverykit.com right now and kickstart your transformation. The Burnout Recovery Kit, because you deserve to be at the top of your own to-do list. Don't just cope, thrive, sis.
I like that. I like that.
I told you, oh, that's my own song. Okay,
Yeah,
that's
we
you ain't,
got we got to talk. We got to talk.
you ain't gonna hear that nowhere else. There's a whole actual song that goes with that beat. I
Yeah,
had
yeah. I can play that. I can play that on the show when I do your commercial break.
yes, you
Yeah,
can. Yes, you can, because that's my stuff. You ain't
I
if
know. I know.
you
I
hear
know.
somewhere else, let me know so I can go on and get in their ass about my music, because that's my stuff.
I know.
So I wanted to go back to one thing that you said, Martha, that I thought was so important. And I want to just reiterate that to people to make sure they got what you said. When your energy enters the room before your personality, right? So we have to make sure that we are giving off the right energy, because your name is going to be spoken in rooms that you have not entered into. And how do you want people to speak about you? I just wanted to put that one little thing out there. So think about your energy, the energy that you bring, the energy that you're giving to your employees, the energy that you're giving to what you do, how you feel about yourself, how you present yourself. Think about that, right? So I like to have tips, okay? So I want to give some tips on, as we're trying to build resilience in our lives and in our place in the workforce and for our employees. One of
Mhm.
the things that I think is we have to start with is mindfulness and self-awareness. And
Mhm.
that goes back to that energy thing, right? You have to know who you are and be very confident in who you are. And being mindful is being aware and conscious in the moment, is
Mhm.
understanding, okay, what is going on with me now? Why am I feeling the way that I'm feeling? But not judging it. We're not judging the feelings. What we're doing is allowing ourselves to feel the feelings. We're going to analyze those feelings so that we can move past the feelings, right?
Mhm.
So when you have all of this self doubt, right? When you come into a position or a place where you're not feeling your best, or you're not feeling confident, or that's going to show up in certain ways. But we have to be the ones to say, okay, let me stop. Let me take a step back. Let me analyze, right? And then if that doesn't work for you, write some things down. What I
Mhm.
do all the time, write down what you're good at, what things that you bring to this position, to this table. Why did they hire you? What are the things, sometimes people see more in us than we sometimes see in ourselves, right?
Mhm.
And we have to start conditioning ourselves and feeding love and light into ourselves.
Mhm.
And when you have it, and when you what? Wake up happy, sis. You then enter rooms happy. You radiate that. And as you are filling yourself up with love, now you have that love to share and to give to your employees. Now
Mhm.
you're going to go in and, like Sharonda said, have those conversations and actually learn who your employee is.
Mhm.
What makes Leanne, the employee, tick? What makes her happy? What is it that she wants to do in her career? Right? as a manager, we should never try to stop somebody's growth and projection and
Hmm.
us. As a manager, my job is to prepare you for the next best,
Makes sense. Yep.
for that
Mhm.
next level. It's
Mhm.
not for you. I want every person who I've ever managed to go and be better than me,
Mhm.
because that shows me, that just boosts my little ego. Like, do you see what I was able to impact, how I was able to impact somebody's life, that she's
Yeah.
gone on to greatness, that he's gone on to own his own company, that blah, 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 because of the love and things that I poured into this person, right? So having that mindfulness and being self-aware of who we are, confident in what we bring to the table,
Mhm.
ourselves up with love so that we can radiate and give that love to others, to me
Mhm.
is such an important aspect of kind of building our own resilience and building the resilience of others. So do you
Mhm.
guys have any other tips that you would um,
Mhm.
say to help build resilience?
I do. Um, One of the things we forget about is our own self compassion. We spend a lot of time trying to be what we think people want us to be, and we get ourselves overwhelmed and
Yeah.
we don't give ourselves grace.
Hmm.
We don't give ourselves grace because
Amen.
we're so busy trying to improve so that we can be something that someone else wants.
Mm,
And we have to love who we are and give ourselves grace.
yes.
Okay, you didn't do this today. That's cool. But what is your intention? And I like to talk about intention because intention determines where you go, right? If you don't have set goals, if you don't have set intentions that are repetitive, you don't know how to get to the next level because you don't have clarity. And what do we know about the mind and the brain is they love clarity. And they
Yes.
also need to understand that the repetitiveness of our subconscious mind, our habits, we learn how to drive and we know it. And
Hmm.
so what we do every day is we wake up with 40% of the thoughts we had yesterday. And the numbers vary, but I'm just going to use this. So don't say, oh, she didn't get the numbers right. It just depends on who you talk to. The problem is, the goal is to take those yesterday thoughts and create new thoughts to create a new frame.
Yes. Yes. I love that. I love that. And to take it a step further, because I think to do that, you have to embrace continuous learning.
Mm-hmm.
Have to
Mm-hmm.
always be open and willing to change, to grow, to learn.
Mm-hmm.
That means you have to get comfortable being uncomfortable.
Right.
Cannot move to the next level, your
Right.
next best thing, without a growth mindset. A growth mindset means I'm going to be okay being uncomfortable, because I know I've got some things I need to learn. Got some things I need to unlearn.
Mm-hmm.
Let's talk about that, right? It's not just I need to learn these new skills, but I also need to learn to unlearn some of these things that I learned growing up, may have been through trauma, may have been just me seeing bad examples of leaders,
Hmm.
thinking that's how you get things done, because people were feared this person, not respected. Two different things, right?
Correct.
You can operate well under fear. It's not a healthy way to operate.
Mm-hmm.
And it's
But
not.
you can still get people to do what you want them to do and to appear productive because they're scared. Or you can have them do it because, one, they love what they do, that you've created an environment where they want to work. You show them that you are continuously learning and growing, and you're giving them that space and opportunity to do that as well, right?
Right. Right. Yeah. I Sharonda, do you have anything else? Because I was going to just say one other point about that.
Um, I like I said before about people being the most valuable asset of any business, company, corporation, and if you are, they are your work horses. And
Yeah.
if you don't take care of them, you won't be in business much longer. And ruling out of fear is not a healthy work environment.
Mm-hmm.
It's there I've been in situations where we lacked a non-commissioned officer like a sergeant to take care of business, and I was not a sergeant, but I was the continuity of it, and I was in the position. I've been thrusted into leadership position just like you, Martha, and I was also happy to train or hand it over to the sergeant when she came, another black female, tell me why she had it out for me. I'm like, I've done your job. There's no competition. I'm here to support you. I'm not even supposed to be doing this. But
Right.
she set me up for
Mhm.
failure so many doggone times. But because I am who I am, I'm like, you know what? I
You
I
like that though. You like that because you like, oh, you
You
want to
judging
test me.
me?
See,
Sharonda's
that's what I'm saying.
personality
I
is
don't
I
come for
could
people.
show
They
you.
try to come for
Right.
me.
But
That's what I'm
Sharonda's
talking
like,
about.
I
I don't
could
be
show
messing
you
with
better than
nobody.
I
I
can
don't be
tell
messing
you.
with nobody.
Yeah.
What am I supposed to
Yeah.
do? You
I,
know?
I, yeah, I've been in those positions a lot, you know, where we don't uplift one another. We tear each other down because of the fear of your value. Your value is more than their value.
But
So the
why does
only
your
way that
shine have to dull theirs?
Right. Because two lights, one light doesn't dull the other. All it does is they shine brighter together.
Hello?
right,
But but they couldn't.
But
They
I mean,
that
but
was
you have
never.
some people that are very competitive, right? You have some people who are uber competitive, and I feel like if you always are trying to pit yourself against me, against the things that I'm doing, that shows your insecurity. That's
Hmm.
your lack
yeah,
of of security in yourself because you have to always judge. Okay, well, what is Sharonda doing? Okay, Sharonda made it to the next level, and okay, so now I need to go 2 levels because that's your own insecurity showing. It is not a reflection on Sharonda at all. It's a reflection on you because you have put yourself in a position to where you see Sharonda as competition. You see her as a threat. I had a manager, I was working for this um, company out of Denver, and the manager brought me in. Now I'm in my 30s, early 30s. She's like in her 50s. Okay, important point. And I was on this project for 5 months. We had had a meeting, and the VP of the company was like, Leanne, I've been hearing great things about you. You've been doing such great work. I have some projects that we want you to run on the West Coast. From that meeting on, in less than a month, I was gone. In less than a month, I was gone. Oh, the project is slowing down and we don't need you anymore. And there was nothing I could do right. She started to nitpick every single thing. I had the VP of DSHS, the VP of the entire Department of Social and Health Services in Washington State coming to ask me how to do certain things.
Hmm.
But now I'm being pushed out of this position because she saw me as a threat. She didn't see
mhm,
it as, okay, this person makes me look good. And if she takes over these, because this woman had the whole west half of the country, so she saw Leanne is going to change my trajectory, and now I'm not going to be over all of this. No, that opens you up to take over more territory. What you're not seeing is that as the person you brought in, you're not training me, you're not giving me any support because now you feel threatened, right?
Hmm.
And I agree with you, Tanya. Yes, body language does speak volumes, right?
mhm,
It
mhm.
does speak volumes because from that day there was nothing I could do right. Everything in her, everything about her changed towards me.
That should be
Mhm.
criminal.
It happens all the time.
It
I
does.
remember, I remember this. I was in a role where I had a chance to travel to Europe and work on a project. When I get back, this woman says to me, "You make the most money next to the senior vice president." I didn't ask for my salary; they gave it to me. But when they had a downsizing, you know who was in that number.
Mm-hmm.
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
I was in that number because I was competition to her.
Yes. Yes.
It
People
was
do.
no other reason. Now they flew me over there. They gave all this intention to me, and they not giving it to you. So
Mm-hmm.
therefore, you think that you can move me out the way and show up? You know they did if they failed, because that's what they get.
Mm-hmm.
But
God don't like ugly.
yeah,
Mm-mm.
you can't not do wrong and it doesn't show back up.
You know
Hmm.
it. You know it. That's karma. Full circle. It's gonna
Well,
come back
and
Yeah,
my thing is the fact that they chose you to go over there and do the project and not her means that she just may not have been ready for what was needed. And for you to put your own fears, insecurities, and jealousy over the needs of your company and saying, hey, Martha honestly was the better person for this opportunity. Hey, Martha, can you help me to improve in this way so that I can get opportunities like this? People are so scared to admit that they don't know how to do something, that they're not the best at something, that somebody else is better. Give me my damn flowers today. You know
mhm,
that I was built for this. This is why they're flying me over here to do this project. And most times people are so open and willing to help you if you open your mouth and just ask and come from a place of honesty. Hey,
yeah,
how can I improve? Right? How can I do X, Y, or Z? It's called expanding your network because your
That's the
network
path of least
work.
resistance, but it's more fun to talk about and criticize and dream up and make up. Why? Well, why Martha get that dog? Why
Oh,
can't you ask me
because
how she got it?
she was having whole conversations about Martha with other people.
Oh yeah.
yeah. That's what it was,
Ugh.
and
And it's,
when I sat back and looked at, I had still had relationships at that company. Like it was a year and a half later, and they still had not reached the goals that I had done for them in 3 months.
Because Martha doesn't work, then Martha has left the building.
period, gone, bye bye. And that brings another point, right? Is let's start setting some realistic goals and boundaries
Hmm.
because Martha had, okay, this is what we're going to do. I'm realistic about what I can provide, what I can bring to this team, to this engagement, to this whatever. And then you've got the need to have those boundaries that say, okay, in order for me to do this and operate at my best, I need X, Y, and Z. Right.
Hmm.
So once we're doing that, right, setting our boundaries, setting realistic goals, I'm going to make $1 million in 3 weeks. No, you're not. No, you're not. You're not.
Yeah.
Right. So let's be realistic. Let's expand our networks. Let's be open and honest about the places where we need assistance for growth. Right. Because all of those things, coming in as a leader or coming in as the employee, needing the support, all of those things are going to work to make a better workforce. A happy, fulfilled workforce is going to work harder for you, and your bottom line will be impacted one
Yeah.
way or another. One way or another, it's going to go up or it's going to go down. And you, as the leader, are the one who gets to make that decision by how you feed into your people. How do you make them feel respected, heard, seen? How do you take away, like Sharonda said, how do I take away the barriers and the blockers and the challenges so that my team can excel? Right? So today we've been talking about how do we get our people from going overwhelmed to having resilience, to performing well, to being an empathetic leader, right? We've talked about so many things. And I want to leave you guys with this, and we're going to go around, and I would like everybody to kind of give your final thoughts. Okay. And then I'll give my final thoughts. So, Martha, as our guest, do you have any final thoughts and how people can uh, connect with you if they would like to learn more about your services?
Yes, yes. The final thought is when you think about every day when you wake up and you know that you have a purpose, don't let others determine your purpose. You are impossible. Your impossibility, say, I am possible, and
Yeah.
be able to rise up with clarity and understanding that you are the ones that are made for whatever it is God has designed you to be. Never let other people define who you are. Define who you are based on your ability, your knowledge, and your worthiness. No one can take away from you when you know that you are worthy. When you know this is your life. You know that this is your purpose. So stay in the space of waking up happy, waking up with the affirmation that I am more than possible. I am unstoppable. And being whoever God has already designed you to be. Live in your divine purpose, and your destiny will always be the ones that leave the legacy for others to see. And I am Martha Davidson, and you can reach me at empoweringmind.com, or you can actually reach me at Martha T. Davidson at Empowering Minds at Empowering Minds. I
It's
got that.
it's an M,
Empowering Minds at gmail.com.
but it's empowering, just the letter M.
I am Martha Empowering
I like that.
Minds now. Yeah. Now, empowering minds now.
Okay, let me put it.
Not later, now.
Empoweringmindnow.com.
Yes, that's
Okay.
my website, and you can also reach me at Martha T. Davidson at Empowering Minds Now at gmail.com. So it's
Okay.
Martha T. Davidson at Empowering Minds. Yeah, now
.com.
that yeah, you can just do that and you will see how to contact me. Fill out your contact information and we will get back to you. We have several resources available and we would love to share those with you. So if you go to that website, go to the contact page and we'll be more than happy to serve you.
Yes. Amen. Well, thank you for being here today, Martha. Uh, DJ Tori Sanchez, do you have any final words you'd like to share with the peoples?
Yeah, first and foremost, thank you as always, my queens, for giving out valuable information, man. Uh, I I'm always in awe because I always learn something new every time I come in. Always, you know. The one thing that I want to just instill in all of the people that's looking and listening right now is uh, always remember to check your ego. You
Yes.
know, check your own ego. You know, and ego to me is we got to learn how to stop easing God out.
Hmm.
You know what I'm saying?
Mm,
You know,
mm.
if you would just get prayed up before you go to work and ask for that guidance that you need to make it through, then everything will be okay. You know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? But
Yes.
continue to strive and give out this valuable information. Hey, boss lady, I see you. I see you. You can catch me every Saturday and Sunday at KCCR Radio, Cityscape, the Brownstone, from 7 to 9 p.m., dropping the sounds to make you get up to get down from the Chicago side. You
You
dig
did.
what I'm saying?
Keep
And y'all got to remember, we all we got. So let's continue to do it and operate in love.
I love that.
Amen. 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 Sharonda.
Remember the people. I know the mission is important, but remember the people. If you do not take care of the people, your mission is going to fail anyway. So,
Man.
You have
and this is how you can find me. If you need to get your books together, April is next month.
No, it's not season, baby. Money. Get that money, honey.
it's a
Hey,
young.
I can't give money away. I can't help people get to the money if they won't call me. So hey,
That's it. If you don't call, she can't help you get to the
So
money.
call,
Where the
get that
money
money.
reside, where the money reside.
Y'all better call, get that money.
I'm just
Yeah.
saying. Y'all heard what they said, y'all. What they said.
Call, get that money. So I can borrow $5.
I ain't got it.
Let me hold 20. Let me hold 20.
I just need 5.
So it has been such an amazing show. We learned a lot of things, gave out some good tips. So hopefully you took something that can help you be a better employee or a better manager to those you are leading. I want people to kind of remember that your ability to navigate these corporate environments, especially if it's a high pressure environment, military, teachers, like all these high pressure, high stress environments, you have to do it with grace, with resilience, and with the empathy that is already within you. Mm-hmm. We have everything that we need within us.
Already inside.
Great.
Absolutely.
Yes. We have everything within us to be great. We have to know that. And it's about taking that one step at a time, right?
Right.
Learn. Keep yourself on a path of learning at all times. Reach out for support. Stop trying to act like you are an island. You are not. Everybody needs help. Make sure you have a strong support system around you. And always, always remember that when you're leading people, lead with kindness, with empathy, and move people towards success. Help them remove the blockers so that they can shine, because that's only going to make you shine more. Mm-hmm. So with that, we are going to end this show. I want to thank y'all for being here with us today. It's been a wonderful episode. We're wrapping up season 7 next week. So next week are 2 final shows in season 7. Then we're going to be off for about 2 weeks so we can get down and get dirty on season 8.
Because we coming. We coming.
So I want y'all to have the day that you are meant to have. Because why? You have control over how you respond to all the things that happen to you. So choose to wake up happy every day. With that, we'll see you later. Bye. Thank you for tuning in for another episode of Wake Up